A fire forces a Jasper restaurant to remain closed today. More on when that restaurant will reopen. Plus, Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz is our guest for this week's edition of Monday with the Mayor, and Becky Termolen with the Lucky Riders Motorcycle Club is our guest this evening on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, a Jasper restaurant will not open for business for a couple of days following a fire that took place there this morning. Firefighters with the Jasper Volunteer Fire Department were called to the Fazoli's in the 700 block of 3rd Avenue at around 8 a.m. this morning on a report of a fire that had started outside of the building. Jasper Fire Chief Kenny Hoaksong says there was about $7,000 worth of damage to the outside of the building. Hoaksong says the fire is believed to have been caused by a discarded cigarette. The restaurant did not open for business today, but restaurant managers say they hope to reopen the restaurant by midweek. No injuries were reported. The Jasper Fire Department responded with 5 trucks and 32 men and were on the scene for a little over an hour. Memorial Hospital EMS also assisted at the scene. Jasper's new gymnasium has now officially been dedicated. On Friday evening, the Greater Jasper Consolidated School Corporation held an official open house and ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new gym at Jasper High School. The gym has already seen regular use since the school year started, hosting sporting events as well as guest speakers. Greater Jasper School Superintendent Dr. Tracy Lorai says though the loss of the old gym 2.5 years ago was tough for the corporation, the district is grateful to have a new facility.
Well, I would think, 2.5 years ago, we probably wouldn't have dreamed that this day would be here. We are so grateful that the event that occurred that caused this to happen didn't result in any kind of major catastrophe other than the loss of a facility and not the loss of lives. We are just so very thankful to all of those who played a part in the development, the design, and carrying out the construction of this facility. It's something we're proud of, and we think that our community will be proud of for many, many years.
Those in attendance at Friday night's ribbon cutting included Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz and Greater Jasper School Board President Nancy Habig. Habig says the new gym will serve many purposes for the district.
Well, it should last a really long time, and it's a multi-purpose gym, which is very important to all of us. It's not just a basketball gym or any other athletic or volleyball. We use it for so many functions. We just had a Holocaust speaker in here, Eva Kaur, just a week or so ago. So it's just very, very great.
The new facility replaces the former Jasper High School gym that collapsed back on the morning of May 2nd of 2011 after water built up on the roof. The gym was officially completed over the summer, though it did host the commencement ceremonies for Jasper's class of 2013 back in May. Construction of the new facility officially began back in May of 2012. Royalty for this year's Huntingburg Herbst Fest has now been chosen. Last night, the Huntingburg Herbst Fest Queen pageant was held at the Southbridge High School Auditorium. Cheyenne Layton, a senior at Southbridge High School, took home this year's Queen honors. She is the daughter of Jolia Layton and Joe Layton of Huntingburg. Layton also received a $500 scholarship along with the Queen's crown. Haley Longebrake was the first runner-up, and Katie Kendall took home second runner-up along with Miss Congeniality honors in the pageant. All of the contestants are students at Southbridge High School. This year's Huntingburg Herbst Fest is set to get underway on Thursday. The Herbst Fest pageant will air in its entirety on 18 WJTS next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, following our newscast, and will be re-aired on Sunday, October 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, the Huntingburg Herbst Fest pageant will air on 18 WJTS in its entirety next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, following our newscast, and on Sunday, October 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Finally this evening, a familiar event in the town of Ferdinand was held this past weekend, though there were some new twists this year. The 4th edition of the Ferdinand Folk Festival was held on Saturday in Ferdinand's 18th Street Park. Several folk artists highlighted this year's event, but the first twist of the day came when headliner act Todd Snyder did not make it to the festival. Nashville recording artist Lily Hyatt, the daughter of Indiana native and former Grammy Award winner John Hyatt, replaced Snyder in the lineup, and the show went on. Ferdinand Town Council President Ken Seacard says bringing people from within the Ferdinand community and beyond is a big part of what makes the Ferdinand Folk Fest so special.
It's just a tremendous chance for us to bring in people from all around, including our own community, to come in and just sit back, relax, spend a beautiful day in a park, listen to music, go through tremendous number of vendors and their crafts, and just enjoy a great day. We don't get too many chances like this where it's kind of a sit back and relax type thing, and this is just a great day for us to do that.
Crowd turnout was expected to top last year's numbers, according to Seacard. Seacard says people are also beginning to show up earlier in the day as the festival continues to grow. The Folk Fest also had a bit of a hometown flavor this year. Ferdinand native Bethany Baglan made an appearance on the main stage at this year's Folk Fest. Baglan, who has recorded 1 CD to date, says being on the main stage this year meant a lot to her, especially as a Ferdinand native.
A huge honor to play at the Ferdinand Folk Festival. Last year I opened for the Folk Festival, and this year it was incredible being on the main stage. Especially I saw Andrea Worth out in the corner, and it was awesome because they're the ones that inspired me to do this whole thing in the first place.
Baglan says she has enough material to record a second CD, but she says though music is her passion, she doesn't see herself doing music as a living. This year's Folk Festival also featured a new event. Saturday morning, bike riders from all over the area and beyond took part in the first edition of the Ferdinand Folk Fest Fondo. The Fondo was a recreational ride rather than an actual bike race. Riders in the Fondo could start their recreational ride as soon as they registered, instead of having to line up for a start as they would in a regular bicycle race. Race director Chris Welp says the riders at this year's Fondo came from all riding experience and age ranges. He says the event is part of a plan for DC Multisport, which runs the Fondo, to promote DuBois County.
DC Multisport is trying to promote the activity in the county and in this area. They ran the kids triathlon over at Huntingburg earlier this summer. They also put on the Heartland Half Marathon in Jasper. So this is kind of Ferdinand's signature event.
The event featured 3 different routes: a short route that was 24 miles long, an intermediate route that was 32 miles long, and a longer route of 50 miles. The Fondo was held across Saturday and Sunday of this past weekend. Riders had to finish their route by 4 p.m. Eastern Time on both days. Coming up after the break, Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz is our guest for this week's edition of Monday with the Mayor, plus a warming trend on the way, more ahead in your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform with Becky Termolen of the Lucky Riders Motorcycle Club. That's all up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.